Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
This is an update video to get it all, now that your treatment is all finished up. Tell me briefly your story.
I came in with chronic pain in my jaw and headaches, especially right behind my eyes. It was constant pain.
When did we first meet you?
June 2012.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me about these symptoms. How long have you had them prior to?
I had them going on for about 5 years, but up until like that last year, it was just horrible. I was to the point where I couldn't eat steak, chicken, pretty much no meat. So I was eating a lot of yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, that kind of stuff. Pizza crust, couldn't do that either.
What happened?
It got really bad shortly after when I ate it, and the pain was just
Where would it
horrible,
hurt?
like right through here, and up, like kind of below my ears.
Okay.
But it was that day later, and then the following day was really bad.
So it'll linger. The pain will linger for a while.
Yeah, it definitely lingered up until like the next day.
Okay.
So.
All right. So tell me about your experience. What all did you put you through?
Well, it started out with braces and
We first did some
getting
testing.
an expander.
No, we did some testing first.
Yes.
To see if we can even help you.
Yes.
Okay. And then we went through some orthotic first.
Yes.
Okay.
It's hard for me to remember all.
I know, it's been a while.
So first testing, then the orthotic.
How did you do with the orthotic?
It was within, I want to say a week or 2 weeks. I'd have to look to remember. I can't.
Fairly quickly.
Yes, I could definitely tell a difference, and I knew that it was going to help in some way. I didn't know at all the scheme of everything that was going to happen to make it permanent, but I knew that there was something that could be done, and I had some hope, and I was on every painkiller and muscle relaxer prior to having the orthotic put in, and within like 3 days, I remember that very clear, that I slowly started to wean myself off, and I take ibuprofen here and there now for a normal headache, which I didn't know what that really was before. So that's been wonderful. But the orthotic, and then a few weeks later, I think it was, then we started to go through the process of making it permanent. And we did the palate expander along with the braces.
You had braces in the past, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that? How old were you when you had that done?
It was middle school to high school. So
Okay.
I had them for 6 years. Started in California, and they pulled a couple teeth there. Came back to Kansas City when we moved here. They pulled a couple more teeth to make up for the wrong teeth that were pulled in California. So something that should have never been done, but because of that,
A lot of people that we treat, actually 4 out of 5 people that I treat, have had braces in the past. Not to say braces are bad, but a lot of them have had braces to make them look pretty.
yeah, and they looked great.
You know.
So I had those for 6 years and then started it all over again.
But this time I actually had to make more space for you rather than make them just look pretty, make them
Yes.
functional.
Yes, so there was a time where they weren't so pretty with the braces, and
But you knew that going in.
I did, and I honestly did not care. Like, I had felt so much better, and it was fine.
But you also know there's some options afterwards.
Yes.
Right.
So, palate expander on the top, and then we did the braces, and then after that, I think.
Since we were just growing teeth, with use elastics a lot. Remember that?
Yes, I had to use a lot of elastics to
kind of bring the
pull the teeth down or up, whatever. So that was a good 6 months to a year of that part of it, I think.
That part of it. So I think we got all done December of 2014.
Yes.
Okay. And then you wanted to have better looking smiles, so to have veneers done, that was more optional.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have, my bottom teeth were all okay, but the top teeth, the gaps were way too big.
On the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually did 8 veneers on the top.
Okay.
So
How are you doing now?
they're great. Everything's great.
And you just showed us your wedding pictures.
Yes, we just got married 2 weeks ago, and that would have never happened with the way that I was Brian and I actually met a year into my treatment. So it was kind of like right as I started to be back to my own self, working out again. I also had to do physical therapy for a good year and a half or so, which that really helped just because my muscles have been compensating for the balance and everything else. And until you really go into it, you don't realize.
Understand.
Yeah.
And you kind of said something that would not have happened. What do you mean?
I was going to work, coming home from work at 4:30 and going to bed every single day. I was so sick before. So there would have been no possibility for me to meet Brian.
Wow.
With how sick I was.
You're young. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, that's pretty young, and you just didn't feel like doing any social stuff, huh?
No, not at all. There was no social for a good 6 months, I want to say, before I started the treatment.
I see.
And with all those really strong medicines that I was taking, like, you can't function. They just make you so tired, or like a
What all
zombie.
medications were you on?
I was on Flexeril for
Muscle relaxer.
sleeping. I was on ibuprofen 800 milligram as often as I could take it. I was also, they tried to put me on Wellbutrin for depression.
Were you depressed?
No. Well, I mean, with being that sick
Painful.
all the time, you kind of like, yeah, you're not happy, but
Sure,
I wasn't like clinically, I would not have considered myself depressed.
Yeah. In other words, you're not feeling good. You don't see any end in sight. That's kind of a depressing thought.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So,
But you got off the depression medicine also?
yeah. So they tried the depression medicine, they tried anxiety, they put me on, I can't even think of it.
Okay, a lot of meds.
Yes.
Not anymore.
No.
That's
So,
distant bad memory.
yes.
I see. Good. So, what would you tell somebody that had some of those symptoms that you're suffering before? That have been told, were you told nothing can be done?
I was told that I was stressed, that nothing could be done, that it's something that I'm bringing upon myself. So,
Blame you, huh?
yeah.
I see. So if somebody else were to hear that kind of stuff from their doctors, what would you tell them?
I definitely, anyone that I run into, and it's more often now, that it just comes up in conversation, and I tell them, about my process, and that you can get it fixed. It just takes a little while.
Yeah. And a lot of money too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now that you know all those, what's your opinion on that one?
It is, but people also don't realize the amount of time and the process that it takes. And if you really think about it, it's not that much money. And if medical and everything and dental would come together and figure out this isn't a dental problem, this isn't a medical problem, they continue that fight with TMJ. And so if insurance would figure it out, they would have no problem getting you to a doctor that would take the insurance, and no one would think of it. But because of that,
Makes it harder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.